Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Soham Spur here, and today we're going to be looking at my week 2 match of the PSL season 4 against the 14th Doctor, whose channel will link down below in the description. So before we head into the match, let's have a look at the roster that my opponent had and the team that I brought as a result. So my opponent had a Zygarde 50% and a Zoomeril, an Entei, a Shaman Landform, Ditto, Archeops, his Mega Manectric, which was his Mega, Kartana, Klefki, Nidoqueen, and Meloetta, where Archeops and Kartana were the Z holders. Now, the first thing that I noticed about his team was that he did not have the best of ground switch-ins. Like, his only ground raised on the team was Shaman Land, and other than that, his other ground immunity was Archeops, which I didn't think was going to come in this match. So that's something that I took advantage of in my team, as you'll see when I move to the team builder. Also, the fact that his Zygarde 50 and Azumarill were completely walled by physically defensive Serena, so that's something that I brought. Also, the fact that the only mon here, the only physically attacking mons here that could have broken past the Serena were the Entei and the Kartana. Now, Entei is a bit of a problem because I don't really have the best switch-ins to the Entei, and the only mon that could really take on the Entei was my Tapu Fini, which you'll see in the team. And we also have the Kartana. Now, if the Kartana is a Swords Dance variant, it could potentially blow past my Serena with like a +2 all-out pummeling. Excuse me there. Or it could even use Aerial Ace, like a +2 Flynium Z with Aerial Ace could also be there to beat my Serena. So those are some of the things that were in my mind. And yeah, let's just move on to the team that we brought. Okay, so first mon of the team is Choice Scarf Crocodile with Earthquake, Stone Edge, Fire Fang, and Knockoff. This time I brought Moxie because, as I said, he does not have the best of ground switch-ins. So if I nabbed one kill with Earthquake, the rest of his team did not want to switch into a +1 Earthquake anyway. So this could be a very good mon for me in the late game especially. And this has max attack with just enough speed and a jolly nature to outspeed the Entei, max speed Entei, and the rest was just put into HP. Now the Skarmory, the Skarmory, you might see an interesting spread here. The thing is that the 56 special attack EVs along with the quiet nature is to one-hit KO the Kartana with Hidden Power Fire, which I'm running on my team. And the Skarmory has a moveset of Whirlwind, Roost, HP Fire, and Defog. Whirlwind is there to just phase out any of his setup mons, like be it DD Zygarde or Coil Zygarde or Belly Drum Azumarill, like a Swords Dance Kartana, although Swords Dance Kartana will immediately die to Hidden Power Fire. But anyway, I still want a Whirlwind to phase out his other setup mons. Roost is just there, standard stuff, so is Defog. Now Infernape, yep, this Infernape is actually a specially offensive Infernape this time with max speed and max special attack, and this is Nasty Plot, Flamethrower, Grass Knot, and Vacuum Wave. So at +2, Flamethrower does a lot of damage to all of his team, all of the mons on his team, and Grass Knot is there. Yeah, Grass Knot along with Grassium Z allows me to one-hit KO the Azumarill with some prior chip damage, and if I can get to +2 before firing off my Z Grass Knot, it's a guaranteed OHKO at that point. So that's going to be good. Yeah, the Vacuum Wave is also there to revenge kill Scarf Kartana if needed. And yeah, with that, let's just move on to the remaining mons on my team. They are the Kyurem Black, which is a Life Up Kyurem Black this time with max speed, max special attack, and it's carrying Fusion Bolt, Ice Beam, Earth Power, and Roost. Just your standard 3 attacks Roost Kyurem Black. Now the next mon on the team is Keeper, my Tapu Fini, and this one's carrying a Rendo Berry along with the defensive investment. It will allow it to guaranteed take less than half from a non-choice banded Kartana. Like a Kartana at base stat basically is what I'm trying to say. Like if he's a Scarf Kartana or he's SD Kartana who is not at +2 yet, I'm going to take guaranteed take less than 50% with this spread. And it has Surf, Knockoff, Nature's Madness, and Ice Beam. Nature's Madness is pretty standard stuff on this. So is Knockoff. Surf is there for the main stab move, and Ice Beam is there so that I can take the Leaf Blade from Kartana, and in turn I can do back at least more than 50% to the Kartana. So just so that it's in range of, just so it's guaranteed in range of what's it called, vacuum wave from my Infernape, even if it is running a Chopple build. So yeah, that's my Tapu Fini. So next up we have the Sarina, which is again max HP, max defense with an Adamant Nature, because Adamant Nature Trop Kick does more than 50% to Azumarill guaranteed, which if I was not running an Adamant Nature, it might not have done as much. Oh yeah, one more thing worth mentioning here is that with Adamant Nature, Trop Kick can break potential substitutes from Zygarde 50 depending on how much HP he's running. So if he's running anywhere near the standard spread, which you can find on Smogon, it ran I think 180 HP and something like 56 defense or something. It guaranteed breaks subs from a Zygarde with that spread with Drop Kick. Anyway, so this one has Queenly Majesty as its ability, which is quite understandable. You want to prevent the extreme speeds from likes of Entei and Zygarde, Aqua Jets from Azumarill, and it has Rocky Helmet because if like my primary switch into his physical attack is going to be the Skarmory, but if I'm in a pinch, I'm going to throw this Sarina into the field, and it's going to rack up some Rocky Helmet chip on my opposing physical mons. Like if Zygarde goes for an outrage on it, it will do a lot to me, but at the same time, it will keep taking chip every turn through Rocky Helmet. That will be very crucial. Anyway, it has Rapid Spin to remove hazards. Since I'm not bringing any hazards of my own, I'd rather not have my opponent setting up any hazards on my side as well. Synthesis just for the guaranteed recovery. Drop Kick to, Drop Kick is basically the main stab move here, and U-turn for momentum. So with that team, yeah, let's just move on to the battle. Okay, we're here at the battle. So now looking at his team, I realized that my opponent did not have a single ground resist on his team. No ground resist, no ground immunity. So basically Crocodile clicks Earthquake and gets some big damage off on his team. Like nothing on his team wants to switch into the Crocodile. Like look at this. Mega Manectric dies. Ditto doesn't take it well. What's this? The Kartana doesn't take it well enough. It takes around 50% I think, and Azumarill won't take it very well depending, like yeah, if it's a bulky defensive Azumarill, it's going to take it, but if it's not that set, then yeah, it's going to have some problem. The Klefki just dives to the Earthquake unless it's a magnetized variant, and Meloetta doesn't really switch into it either. So also one more thing worth noting is that he didn't bring a Shaman and his Arceus. Yeah, I just said that already. I don't know. I'm repeating myself at this point. Yeah, what I was about to say was he didn't bring his Entei, which was really good for me because look at my current team here. Like only one mon. This Tapu Fini is all that could have taken on that Entei. The fact that it did not bring Entei was beautiful for me. Was absolutely fantastic for me. So anyway, yeah, let's start this match. So seeing that he did not have any ground resist or ground immunity, I just laid off with my Crocodile. Why is it so slow? Yep. I lead off with my Crocodile as he leads off with his Manectric, and this is huge because he cannot risk me being Scarf. So he can try to stay in and get the Intimidate off, but he'll lose a lot of health on his Manectric if I click Earthquake. So he knows he has to switch out. And looking at his team, he doesn't really have the best of switch-ins. Like at this point, I was expecting the Kartana, the Azumarill, or the Ditto to switch in. And even if Ditto switches in, it's not Intimidate Crocodile. It's a Moxie Crocodile. So the Earthquake is still going to do around 60-65%, if I'm not wrong. Like I don't remember the exact calc for this, but yeah, I think 65% was the min damage. Yeah, it was somewhere around that. So anyway, yeah, I just click Earthquake, no reason to think here at all. He goes to his his Ditto, which turned into a Crook. I hit my Earthquake and I get a huge crit. Turn 1, crit, get out of here with that Ditto. Like Ditto is one of those mons I have a lot of problems dealing with in most of my draft league games. The fact that I got rid of it turn 1 was absolutely huge for me. So now I'm at +1 with my Crocodile, and the fact that he went out into Kartana here told me that he's most likely a Scarf Kartana, because he'd want to revenge kill my Scarf Crook himself, but he didn't necessarily have to be a Scarf Kartana, because I don't think even at +1 stab EQ would have killed Kartana. So anyway, I have my Skarmory, which can take any hit from this Kartana. he just decides to fire off a leaf blade anyway. I take nothing from that, 11%. I recover most of it back with leftovers. Now, here's the point. His most likely switch in at this point is going to be the Manectric, but if he's a setup variant, he can try and set up here. Like if he wants to set up, he can set up. He can go to a +2. Like he can predict to set up stealth rocks or spikes, and he can take that free turn to set up a source dance, and then he can just blow me back with +2 all-out pummeling. So I didn't want that to happen, not yet, because he still has a zoomer at full health. So what I do right now is I just whirlwind him out. So I wanted to see if he set up there or not. The fact that he did not set up, he went straight out into his Manectric, told me that he's most probably not a setup variant, although he still might very well be. He could just be like playing it like a scarf, so that I would not expect the source dance later when my Skarmory is probably weakened. Anyway, so he went out there into his Manectric, and I clicked Whirlwind again, which meant that which meant he got brought back into his Kartana again. So I knew again that right. So since he's facing the Skarmory right now, he cannot click Leaf Blade here, because Leaf Blade on a Skarmory makes no sense. He's either going to go for Source Dance, he's going to knock off, or he's going to click Sacred Sword. Now, both Sacred Sword and knock off I could take with my Tapu Fini. And since my Tapu Fini had the Rendo Berry with the defensive investment that I gave it, it does not get killed by +2 Leaf Blade. So what I do right now is I switch it into my Tapu Fini, expecting a Sacred Sword or a +2 or Source Dance, but he goes out into his Klefki. Now this Klefki I cannot really switch in very well into. Like if this thing starts setting up if Klefki starts doing what it basically does every game, set up spikes, go for light screen and reflect, just basically annoying you. Yeah, if it starts doing any of that stuff, I am helpless to do anything about it. So I decide my best course of action here is to just weaken the Klefki. So that's what I do. I go for Nature's Madness here, but my opponent decides to switch in his Meloetta, and this is big as well. Although you just saw the next turn also. I wanted to pause before that. Anyway, although Meloetta wasn't really the biggest problem for me, because I had a Scarf Crocodile which could just come in and kill it with a knockoff. So unless this was a pirouette form like the Relic Song variant, it wasn't really going to be much of a problem for me. But anyway, it turns out he's not. He's just packing a specially offensive Meloetta, and he clicks Energy Ball, and it does quite a bit. Considering the fact that this is a Tapu Fini and I was holding a Rindo Berry, it still does 20%. So if I was not holding that berry, it would have done around 40%, and that would have been some big damage for him. Especially since I couldn't really take on the Zoomer at that point. But honestly, yeah, I had answers to a Zoomer, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Anyway, he decided to Energy Ball me. I decided to just knock off his item, and he was Assault Vest as well, it turns out. Now, here I couldn't risk staying in on the Meloetta anymore, since I didn't have my Rindo and I was at -1 defense. So I just go out into my Skarmory. I knew Skarmory resisted both of its stabs as well as the Energy Ball. So I go out into my Skarmory. He just fires off a Hyper Voice. Skarmory takes quite a bit. Considering that it's a resisted hit, it still does 29%. But yeah, it's a Skarmory. Like, what can I expect? Skarmory without any specially defensive investment whatsoever. So, yep. I take the hit, and I just decide to roost off my damage. If he has something like HP Fire or something, I can scout for that, and basically I can get up to full health at this point. So yeah, I'm back at full health. He knows he can't touch me anymore. The fact that he went for Psychic there over something like an HP Fire or a Thunderbolt. Does this even get Thunderbolt? Yeah, I can't really remember. Anyway, the fact that he went for something like Psychic instead of HP Fire or Thunderbolt told me that he did not have any coverage for this Skarmory. And at this point, I was not really expecting him to make an aggressive play like going for Hyper Voice here or an Energy Ball here, predicting any of my other mons to come in. Basically, his most likely play here was going out into the Mega Manectric. So I just take this chance to switch out into my Crocodile as well. As you can see, he goes into his Klefki, in fact, instead of the Manectric, and I go into my Crocodile. Now I see Klefki in front of me. I know this is a nuisance. I'm just going to get rid of it. I click Earthquake. No thoughts given at all. I click Earthquake, but he turns out to be the Magnetized variant, which is pretty annoying for me, which is quite annoying for me. Now the fact that I have to use something else to weaken this Klefki is You know what Klefki does anyway. Now at this point I was fearing another of those reflect or spikes shenanigans. So I didn't think much about it. I went out directly into my Tapu Fini, and he reveals foul play. So it wouldn't have done much to the crocodile anyway, because foul play would have been wasted. But yeah, all the same, going out into my Tapu Fini was a better play here. Now at this point I realized he could want to sack the Meloetta, so I just click Surf instead of Nature's Madness, and it takes out the Meloetta. Now he brings out his Manectric. Now at this point a Volt Switch looks absolutely free right now, except for the fact that I have a Crocodile in my team, which if the Crocodile can come in for free, he knows he's going to lose another Mon to my Crocodile. So I kind of expected him to pack HP Grass on this Mon. So I knew if he was packing HP Grass, it would hit both my Tapu Fini and my Crocodile. So I didn't really want to. So I didn't want to stay in on this Manectric. Neither was I too sure about going into Crocodile. But at the same time, yeah, if he had HP Grass, I could have gone into Serena as well, because it would have taken the Thunderbolt and the HP Grass, but then I would have had to switch again, fearing the Flamethrower or the Overheat. So I just went into the one Mon that could take all those hits for guaranteed, and you know who it is. It's time. It's time. Big Dick Kyurem Black is here, and something is about to die now. You know it. So he does not go for the full switch. He went for hidden power, and the fact that it did neutral damage to me meant it was probably HP Fire or it was HP Ice. Now since this Mon gets Flamethrower anyway, I don't think running HP Fire makes any sense at all. So it's most definitely HP Ice. Now at this point with Kyurem Black, I'm looking at his team and I see absolutely no resist to my Earth Power whatsoever. So I just click Earth Power here. He Volt Switches out. And I was like, at this point, alright, give me your Mon, give me your Earth Power Switch, and alright, you decide to go into Klefki, that thing is going to drop. Except that it didn't really drop, it lived at 8% health. So I was like, alright, it's probably going to set up Light Screen or Reflect, because that's what he brought in his previous match against Aero. So that was kind of weighing heavy on my mind. So I decided, alright, you can set up your screens all you want, I'm just going to get my health back with Roost. So that's what I do. I click Roost, and he instead goes for foul play, but that does nothing to Kyurem Black. Like, this is a Kyurem Black. What do you expect it to do? This is a Kyurem Black with absolutely no attack investment whatsoever. It just chewed up that foul play. Now at this point I realized that Earth Power is pretty free for me. So if he wanted to keep the Klefki alive, he might want to go out into the Azumarill, because Azumarill could take an Earth Power and then it could kill me back with what's it called? Yeah, with Play Rough. So I just decided to fire a Fusion Bolt instead, because him going out into his Mega Manectric at this point made absolutely no sense. Neither did him going out into his Katana, which could potentially take a lot of damage from my Earth Power. So I knew either he'd stay in or he'd go out into Klefki, and Fusion Bolt covered both. So this turn I just go for a Fusion Bolt. Unfortunately, he's packing the Thunder Wave and he paralyzes my Kyurem Black. But luckily I break through paralysis this turn. I go for the Fusion Bolt and I kill him as he goes out into his Katana. Now this Katana is most probably going to click Sacred Sword, so there's no point in me staying in and giving up my Kyurem Black for free. So I just make the safe switch in out into my Skarmory, as he makes a really good play here. He predicts that and goes out into his Mega Manectric. Now at this point again, you are Mega Manectric and you're in front of a Skarmory. You're either going to click Thunderbolt or you're going to click Flamethrower or Overheat, and neither of those moves had a chance to knock out Crocodile. So I just made the aggressive double. I went out into Crocodile, but he predicts that. He predicts that and goes for the Hidden Power Ice, which was a very good play on his part, and that got a lot of chip on my Crocodile. It brought it down to below half, so another HP Ice from it could kill my Crocodile if it's not Scarf. But at the same time, I am Scarf, so if I click my Earthquake, again his switch-ins are limited at this point. Like only two, to be fair. Like it's either the Katana or the Azumarill that you go out into, and whichever you go out into, it takes damage at this point. That's what happens. He goes out into Katana, I click Earthquake, and it takes 42%, which is really good for me. Now again, I see Katana in front of me. I'm not going to play around. I'm not going to make any predictions whatsoever. I just blindly switch out into my Skarmory. If you go again into Manectric again, I have no issues with that. But he just decides to fire off a Leaf Blade. I'm like, okay, we can play this game. No problem. Now He goes back out into his Manectric, and this is where I make a sort of it's not really very aggressive, because at this point I was kind of having a whiff of the fact that he was Scarf Katana and not the SD variant that I was fearing. So Kyurem Black could have easily taken a Scarf, what's it called, a Leaf Blade, no problem at all. So I decided to go out into my Kyurem Black here, plus it was paralyzed, so it was not going to stick around for a long time. Anyway, I go out into Kyurem Black, I see a ground weak mon in front of me, I just click Earth Power. Like, no thoughts given at all. Yeah, I could have, yeah, you're right, I could have clicked Roost here and kept it at full health, but I didn't really see the point of keeping Kyurem Black alive at this point. Like, Kyurem Black's purpose was to break through his walls, and it didn't really bring any walls as such. So it got rid of his most annoying mon, yeah, in Klefki, and I was happy. And at this point, unless he was running max speed, he was going to fall to my Fusion Bolt. Like, at this range, there's no way he's leaving a Fusion Bolt, unless he's running a Wakan Berry. So we'll see what happens. I just go for the Fusion Bolt here, and let's see how much this does. Oh, never mind, I get paralyzed. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. I get full paralyzed here, which allows the Zoomer to kill me back with a Play Rough. Anyway, what can be done? But even if the Kyurem Black died, I'm still at a good spot in the match, because right now I can just go out into my Sarina, and he does not know whether this Sarina is defensive or offensive. And even if this is defensive, Power Whip from a defensive Sarina will still kill Azumarill, so he cannot afford to stay in here. Because at this point, his best shot at winning is to somehow belly drum up with Azumarill, although I'm not really sure in front of what it is going to belly drum, especially since he has taken some chip damage. So if my Crocodile can go up to +1 by killing the Manectric or the Katana, it's going to knock it out with Earthquake. So anyway, I decided to go out into my Sarina, and I expected him to switch at this point, which he gladly does. He goes out into his Manectric, I predict that, I go for my U-turn, and I bring in my Crocodile. Now you have to give me a mon again. Again, it's sack time, and he decides to sack off his what's it called? Yeah, the Mega Manectric. I don't know what happens to me at times. Like, I get stuck for words a lot. Anyway, so I kill off his Mega Manectric. I'm at +1. Send in your mon. Now this Katana is most likely his Scarfer, and at this point I could afford to let Crocodile go down, because since I have Sarina at full health, it's going to wall the shit out of both of these mons. But anyway, I decided to save some differential, and I decided to switch out into my Skarmory as he goes for a Leaf Blade. Now that does nothing, and given the fact that he has not tried to set up even once in the entire game, now this was starting to tell me that it's most probably not a setup variant at all. It's most definitely Scarf. So his best chance of winning at this point is to just go out into Azumarill and set up with it. Like, he can't really do anything else at this point. So I go out into my Sarina here, which kind of covers both the plays. Like, it takes the Leaf Blade from Katana. It also covers his switch into the Azumarill, and yeah, you'll see right here, because he keeps going for Leaf Blade, that does nothing to me. I keep going for Synthesis, I keep recovering back all my health, and he keeps taking more and more Rocky Helmet chip, because yeah, he doesn't really have much to play with at this point. So I go for Synthesis again and again, and I get back up to full. I'm sorry for skipping turns. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, he goes for the Leaf Blade, kills himself with Rocky Helmet chip, and I go for Synthesis. Now he brings out his Azumarill, and even if this is a Choice Bandit Play Rough set, I'm still going to be able to take that. And once I go for my Trop Kick, it's going to be down to its base stat, at which point it cannot kill my Crocodile with a single Aqua Jet. Like, yeah, it'll be locked. If it's banded, it'll be locked into Play Rough anyway. So Aqua Jet is out of the question. Anyway, so even if it is banded, I might have to sack my Sarina, but I can revenge kill it with my Crocodile. So that's what I go for here. I click Trop Kick, and it does a lot. It does 59%, and he happens to have the Citrus Berry, which tells me he was most definitely the Belly Drum set. And yeah, at this point it doesn't even matter, because he doesn't have enough health to go for Belly Drum, and I just chew up that -1 Play Rough from him. I go for Trop Kick on the next turn and kill off the Azumarill to pick up a 5-0 win in our second match with the 14 Doctor. So yep, we've had a pretty good start to the season so far, and next week we are going to face Aero Zeppelin, which is going to be my trickiest match so far, just because, yeah, he knows quite well how I play. Like, he knows very well how I play. And even though he himself has not the best of starts to a season, I think the fact that he'll be facing me with 2 losses under his belt is going to make him even more determined to win. And I'm kinda scared for that. But anyway, yeah, this is a good win for us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.